to a podcast that looks at how to run outstanding rural events. My name is Agnisha Abadia, this is Eloise Downer and Maria Lappin.
In 2014, 9% of all trips taken to the countryside were to attend an event. The sector is just as diverse as the landscapes that the events are held on.
We have investigated the best practice of rural events in the West Sussex area, exploring views on event characteristics such as visitor experience, sustainability and marketing.
We have asked industry professionals the questions that you should be asking when planning your future events.
What are the characteristics of an outstanding event?
You know, the enjoyment that we see, the people that we're supporting, as well as the people who are visiting us. That makes a successful day.
Interactivity, atmosphere and diverse offerings.
Really, it's a characteristic you haven't got any control of is weather. I think it's involving the community, to lots of community involvement in the event, and just putting a wide range of events that appeals to many, many people.
In this first section, we will be highlighting the key fundamentals of the visitor experience that ensures a successful event through from the event design, creation and to delivery. Analysing strategies in which aid event professionals to enhance visitor experience within rural events. How do health and safety regulations limit the design process of measuring a memorable visitor experience?
So, for want of thinking of something, it could be our bounce about day. We work along all the people that provide all the bouncy castles, we work with all their health and safety rules, we look at the risk assessments and look at worst case scenarios in some respects, just to see what can go wrong, how can we prevent it from going wrong, and working as a team to make sure that we literally cover every single health and safety.
So you always have to adhere to health and safety, but Taste of Wickham have still managed to make an array of activities possible. The live cookery demonstrations with local chefs, the pop-up tennis courts and also the local farming goats to pet.
Health and safety is always a big consideration in any event. We have an operations director and a safety manager that review all the plans for the event. What we do is restrict traffic and actually make the place safer.
What atmosphere does the event aim to produce to create a great visitor experience?
Throughout the summer holidays, the feedback you get from the events is huge. And that is, as well as the people that we're supporting, it's obviously the visitors that are coming in. So a lot of the feedback that we get from trip advisors helps us look at next year's events and what atmosphere we've created and what sort of fun we had.
So it is a community atmosphere that is aimed for from Taste of Wickham, as it is community-led, and there is a huge focus on visitors experiencing the local community offerings firsthand and wanting to come back to the market town.
Having lots of different attractions that people can feel safe in the town, get involved in some of the events, have food and drink available as they need it.
To guarantee the success of an event experience, do you focus more on customer service or event aesthetic?
It's customer service for us. It's important that the people who are coming to visit us are getting the experience that they're expecting from us. Obviously we look at all the different things that we can do here because we've got the land, we've got the facilities to be able to hold various events.
Taste of Wickham event, it actually focuses on the aesthetics. It encompasses different ways you can taste the medieval town of Wickham. The local produce aspect is one way that visitors can experience the local offerings and learn about where it comes from and how you can use it in tasty recipes, but there are much more to do, or hands-on activities and demonstrations such as music and dance to enjoy.
How do you measure and achieve satisfaction against visitor expectations?
The people who are coming, they have expectations of certain events that we've done. So the bounce about, the splash about, Tom's Reptiles, they've been a lot of times to us, so their expectations of what that event is going to be like, we already know what they're wanting. When we do a new event, we have no customers' expectations, in mind because we don't quite know how they're going to react to it. But the way we sort of monitor it, again, we're going back to social media and TripAdvisor, people are very quick to put comments on TripAdvisor, negative as well as positive. And we have big wrap-up meetings after events where a lot of the people, staff are involved in saying, right, okay, how could we do this better? Where did we go wrong with that? Why was that so successful? And then we bring it all back together to start again for the next year to work out where we weren't quite right.
So we promote feedback via our social media channels where people do log on and review us. This way we can take that feedback and make improvements for the following year. But we also go around and issue surveys to each of the stall holders for feedback and satisfaction, again to identify how the consumer experience and interaction could grow.
Each event has individual focus points to enhance the visitor experience that you, as event organisers, should focus on to create an outstanding, successful event, from customer service and experience, community offerings and involvement, and developing event expectations. The key fundamental aspects that should always take priority is health and safety for visitors and staff members. Extravagant event ideas that would aim to attract and retain visitors don't always have to be ruled out due to health and safety concerns. As shown from the speakers, any idea is possible as long as the event team work together to cover and plan for all the worst case scenarios. Also, when planning the events, it is helpful to use previous events as a platform for development. If it is a new event, then using social media and other best practices will allow you to put on a successful event.
In this section, we are going to be looking at why sustainability is an essential element of rural events to consider. We'll be looking at some of the key challenges rural areas face when hosting an event based around the 3 pillars of sustainability, from transport to waste, and how the event professionals of West Sussex are overcoming some of these challenges. Given that you are located in a rural area, what steps have you taken to promote transport links for visitors getting to and from your event?
The people that we support, to get them here, we take all the minibuses out and literally collect them from various locations through Bognor and Chichester.
So on the event day we provide 2 car park choices, given the event itself takes part on the normal Wickham car park. So the 2 choices are a park and ride and also a park and stride, and this has been made possible with the local community offerings and businesses.
So we say come by train if you can. There's outlying train stations which are in the region which is easier parking than Arundel Station. We put on extra car parks to allow people to park near to Arundel. So we promote it through our website and on our social media. We have very active social media on Facebook and Twitter that keep people up to date with car park availability, train times, works on the line and things like that. So we make sure that all that information is available for visitors.
It is best practice within events to ensure that recycling is maximised and waste is minimal. How do you demonstrate this within the events that you are involved with?
We have a clean-up team. So, the events team who are ranging literally from age 16 to about 21, I think. So they're purely employed to work the events. So throughout all the school holidays, and then literally at the end of the day, these poor guys are going through the site, clearing it up. We've got a biomass boiler, so we're recycling wood that we're reclaiming from builders. So we've got the heating being done for our shipping building and the electricity for here, I think it is. But we've got recycling bins, all around the back of the shipping building. So we're very green over here, very, very green. That's one of our ethos is about, anything we do, it's to protect society as well. So we've got lots of recycling programs going on.
So there are waste bins throughout the site which are emptied frequently to prevent overflow, and also to ensure that the site is returned to how it was prior to the event. All the rubbish is collected and road sweepers and road washers all go through and clean the area before it opens back up and the road closures are lifted.
Completely agree that we try and recycle as much as possible. This year we partnered with Biffa, who are the local waste company, and they used the event to promote their recycling services and actually co-sponsored one part of the event.
Supporting consumption of local food is important for rural events. What is involved in the process of choosing sustainable food suppliers?
So there's actually a criteria for the Taste of Wickham stall holders, so it ensures locality and relevance. One, they must be located within a 10-kilometre radius of the Taste of Wickham town centre, and they also must have local connections, or they must be a member of Wickham's Chamber of Trade. And there's similar restrictions and criteria for both entertainments to ensure that everything is sourced locally and really is showcasing what Wickham has to offer.
Okay, the key thing we do with food for the festival is we say that all the food in the festival should be provided by local businesses. We have food businesses approach us throughout the year saying we want to come and set up a burger van or something during the festival, and we always say no, because we think part of the duty of the festival is to support the businesses that exist in the town all year round.
How do you engage with the local community, and what are the critical success factors?
We build a lot of relationships in our local area. I mean, obviously, you know, we work very closely with West Sussex and our district council, but our biggest sort of community involvement is with all the schools and colleges. So our target audience are the infant and junior schools for, you know, the ages of our events.
We also have fundraising events. We have a big fundraiser in June which about 250 people come to enjoy a night out and raise money for the festival. So the community is highly involved.
To guarantee all three pillars of sustainability are met, what methods do you put into place to ensure your event is economically sustainable?
Sustainability to me, as well as transport and ecological, is also about the finance of the festival. The festival is run on very limited finances by volunteers, and therefore we need to be very in control of our budgets. You know, we live in England and you can't always rely on good weather. So something that we've been very mindful of in recent time is to increase our reserves such that we could have a festival in a year with bad weather and it wouldn't be catastrophic from a financial point of view.
Key considerations for a sustainable rural events include transport, waste, local community and finance. Elements of best practice have been shown in these areas by using minibuses and park and ride, renewable energy sources, having a clean-up team and creating strategic alliances with local companies such as Biffa. It has been shown that in order to be sustainable within the local community, suppliers and stallholders to events must be locally sourced, so income and support is being put back into the local area. By taking sustainability planning into consideration, event organisers have the opportunity not to only minimise potential negative impacts, but also they can influence stakeholders by leaving a positive legacy and hopefully inspiring those involved to be more sustainable.
The location of rural events generally mean that getting the visitor numbers can be a challenge. The last section of our podcast focuses on the best practice of marketing for a rural event, focusing on understanding your audience, personalising experiences and social media. How does an understanding of your audience influence the way you develop your marketing strategy? And what are the critical success factors?
We as a team are looking at more ways we can find people. And I think, you know, the social media side is huge. So anything and everything that we do, and it could be any project within the trust, it all goes onto our website, it all goes into the papers if they'll publish the article that we want them to print. It's all on social media. And Leah set us up, I think probably 3 months ago, on Instagram, and we've got over 12,000 followers now. So it's looking at the particular project there and then and just trying to work out who we need to actually target and then finding ways to make sure we get to them.
So we know within Wickham that there is a ranging audience. Some still rely on print media whilst others still are very interactive online. So the event is run by a team of volunteers and we kind of play to the volunteers' strengths whilst also making sure that we meet the needs of both traditional and online communications. So personally for me, in my role as digital marketing and social media communications manager, I look after and keep on track of all the social media channels and also all the website design to make sure that there is drip feeding the experience through, and particularly through the photos and other testimonials, getting across how good the event is.
So our understanding of the audience, I mean, the festival's been going 40 years, so you know, it's got a wide and I suppose changing audience. But the key thing we do is the website is probably the core part our marketing activity. But also we have a very, very strong partnership with the local papers. So, every week readers would see some reference to an event that was happening within the festival. And such that we've got that drip feed of, obviously there's a lot of things happening in this festival, and come the event, it's in people's mind.
How does your marketing strategy appeal to tourists individually so that they have a personalised rural event experience?
The personal touch is making sure they're having fun. There's enough staff around to make sure that the health and safety is in place, that everyone is safe and sound, and not having huge accidents, which can happen on event days.
So tourists that I have spoken with over the years always raised how it was an event that was just typically very traditional, which you wouldn't necessarily find elsewhere. It's because it's a medieval market town with all the local people and all the local businesses coming together. It's something that's kind of dying in this new age.
What are the critical success factors of using social media when planning your rural event?
It's the feedback that we get through Facebook, texts, emails, and people speaking to us on the day about it. I think we know through social media if an event is going to be successful the minute we put that poster onto Facebook. And if you suddenly look at that poster and you've got 12,000 views on it, that's going to be a good day. Everyone's like, gosh, yes, we absolutely need to go there. So I think it's the interaction. I think if we just, put in words, our Halloween week is this week, we wouldn't get. So it's very much what we're marketing and sending out to the public to say, right, this is what we've got and how we do it.
So I think drip feeding of information such as store confirmations and entertainment lineup is a key way to create the event buzz. Also, responsiveness is key to make sure you're on top of all customer inquiries or any questions at all, to make sure that those potential consumers can come down and visit and engage with your site. But also in 2016 we were recognised outside of our Taste of Wickham event by the Campaign to Protect Rural England's Rural Enterprise Award, which actually was awarded to us because we also recognised our innovative success of gaining people to rural communities and really promoting it.
Social media to the festival is quite a new thing. It's only in the last couple of years. But I think the key thing is you've got good, relevant content and published often. So Sarah, the person that was appointed to look after social media this year, was posting things probably every day, lots of updates, lots of pictures. We had 2 semi-professional photographers that worked for the festival that created fantastic images, and they were put out on social media all the time. And I think that's what, it's images, I think, as much as words that really get people excited on an event like the festival.
Understanding your audience for your rural event means you can develop a suitable marketing strategy and implement the correct measurement tools. Market segmentation is always the first step. It is important to always stay adaptable and to include elements of both print and digital media. Creating a personalised experience for your visitors should result in a fun-filled atmosphere without forgetting the all-important health and safety. Promote any unique selling points your event offers, such as being a traditional experience. Social media is becoming the mainstream way to reach audiences, with 2.46 billion users worldwide. Interactive content is the key to engagement, with updates being drip-fed to followers to keep your event relevant. Visual content is always better. For example, photos on Facebook are 53% more likely to generate likes than text-based content.
We hope that you have found this podcast useful. Here are some final thoughts to ensure that you create a really successful rural event.
I think it's knowing your audience, and it's making sure that you have actually got something for everyone. So yes, we're targeting all the youngsters, but we also need to make sure that the parents are happy with the event that we're running. So, they need to feel confident that the event that we're running for their children is appropriate, so age appropriate, the health and safety side of it. And I think it's just, looking at the people that you want to target and working out the best way to, to get them to come to your event.
So the challenges really centre around it being rural. So do people want to go to the rural event, and do people even know about the rural event that is happening in their local town or village? And then the opportunities is again the strength of it being rural. It's so different, it's unique, it's different to the other experiences people could get in out of town shopping centres or other events. It's just traditional.
The challenge that the committee has is to continue to refresh it and have new ideas each year, but also the challenge is how to involve more people in the running of the festival. Sometimes it's always very tempting to have a very small group run things because you can make quicker decisions to a degree. But I think in the long run, if you can have a wider group of people helping with the festival, then the tasks do become easier and it becomes less onerous.